18号台裁判员何秀红，运动员史天琪、李克。19号台裁判员杨宇龙，运动员陈意涵、崔明。20号台裁判员宋明明，运动员沈申义、王思诺。21号台裁判员孟令彤，运动员金鹏、林任健。22号台裁判员陆月，运动员牛壮、方雄曼。23号台裁判员李丹阳，运动员董斌、胡龙。24号台裁判员于一丁，运动员张文博、孙源。25号台裁判员李勇，运动员刘俊言、康延壮。26号台裁判员商凯，运动员王璐琪、宁旭飞。27号台裁判员田颖，运动员蒋志茂、周龙。28号台裁判员柴新峰，运动员肖翔宇、王鹏。29号台裁判员陈思寻，运动员张勇、郭真成。30号台裁判员刘宇，运动员白鸽、蔡建忠。31号台裁判员马嘉欣，运动员王大双、张俊杰。TV 台裁判员佘真真，记录裁判员张婉玲、蒋晓玉，运动员曹宇鹏、孔德京。现在比赛开始。
曹宇鹏你好，孔德京你好，请双方选手争夺开局选择权。听我口令，预备，3、2、1，开始。曹宇鹏获得分数。比赛开始，第一局，曹宇鹏开球。10秒，延时。
Good day everyone and welcome to the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. We are now down to the last 64 in this tournament, starting with 712, approximately 712 participants. This is the Division 1 Tour you're currently watching. I'm your commentator for the event, Raymond Tillak, and it is lovely to be with you guys once again at another fantastic installation of these Joy Masters events. And on the TV table for this last 64 match in Stage 3, it is double elimination now, a redraw before each match. It is Chao Yupeng going up against Kong De-Jing. As you can see, both Chinese players. There is only one international player, I believe, left in the tournament, and that is Jose Alberto Delgado from Spain, trying to fight his way into the latter stages of this tournament. Now the Division 1 Tour, as I said, over 700 players. At least 600 of which are Chinese players, so it is quite tough for the international field to get through. I think we did have around 60 to 80 international players competing in this. But yeah, very difficult to get through Stage 1 and Stage 2 to even make it to the last 64. We have added seeded players to the draw. That would have been at Stage 2, we added 16 seeds, and Stage 3, we added another 16 seeds to the draw. Now currently on the table, Kong De-Jing. I've had him on the TV table many times in the previous tournaments. Extremely fierce competitor. Once he gets going, it is very, very difficult to stop him once he has that momentum. His opponent, of course, another very experienced player from China in Chao Yupeng. He did win the lag, unfortunately broke dry. It is winner's break format here in this tournament. No time limit, race to 13 now in Stage 3. There you hear the referee calling 10 seconds, and Yupeng has taken his extension. Oh, that's a nice shot. Not an easy one to spot that, but look at the solids on the table. Yeah, at some point he's either going to have to break up that little cluster on the left side or find a way to hide the cue ball. Kong De-Jing, 3 stripes left. He's been looking at taking on this combination, playing the 4 down onto the 15, leaving the cue ball on the ball cushion. Yeah, it's not bad. He'll definitely take that. Didn't get the pot on the 15. Covered the 9 well. And there we see 4 onto 5 into the center pocket. Nice execution to get that in. As you can see, he's covered the 9. 4 coming out into the open, has covered the 11 as well. And it looks like the black ball is covering the 15. So that was a much better shot than it actually looked from Chao Yupeng. He's going to be able to catch an edge of the 11. And with that previous shot from Chao Yupeng, although he was able to put Kong De-Jing in a safe situation, wasn't really able to develop his balls much with that shot. That was another attempt at the combination, also making sure to leave the cue ball top left corner, not leaving anything on the bottom end of the table, but I think the 9 does go. If he does decide to clip the 9 into that top right corner pocket, the cue ball is going to be coming very close to the 2 ball on this side of the table. It's not going to be easy to control the cue ball, although the 15 is at least just outside the bottom left corner pocket. See if he can widen the angle slightly here, come past the 2. And that's why it looks like might have not decided to take that on. So as I said, this is the last 64 now. Last 64 players left out of over 700 players. And all those matches underway. It is a redraw before the start of each match. And I believe we have one more session today. So the session is the 10 a.m. session. That's 10 a.m. local time here in China. And that's China Standard Time. You guys trying to find that on your world clock. China Standard Time is what you are looking for. It's played well to get the 3 past the 9. There was enough of a gap. From this angle, it looks like the 2 can sneak into the center pocket. So this is the 10 a.m. session. The next session will begin at 5 p.m. local time here in China. And that is continuing with the last 64 down to 32, double elimination in stage 3, race to 13 all the way in stage 3. Tomorrow afternoon we'll start stage 4, single elimination, where we take 32 players down to the final, which will be played on the 24th of December at 7:30 p.m. local time here in China, and that will be a race to 19. When I had a glance at the table earlier, it was the 4 ball was looking like it might be an issue. I don't think it goes past the 15, which is why he's had to get onto that side of it. So to the center. And the cue ball is going to travel enough, bouncing nicely off those 2 cushions. This tournament is being played on the Joy Q8 golden leg steel block cushion table, clothed with the Lieberwin 8848 cloth, and of course the Aramuth balls as well. So it's the most premium conditions in the world to play the game of Heyball, and that's what we play on here at the Joy Masters events. As Zhao Yupeng takes his first point, and he leads 1-0 over Kong Derjing in this race to 13.
第2局，开球。
And it is winner's break format here. So winning the leg and winning the first frame. Chow Yupeng is breaking again in the second frame. See the cue ball center of the table, low on the cue ball. Trying to get dead center of that pack, but the cue ball going straight into that center pocket. Now usually at this stage of the tournament, those mistakes can be very costly, leaving your opponent an open table with ball in hand behind the balk line. That is where the cue ball has to be placed after a foul on the break shot. Another point to be made is that you have to play out of balk. As you can see, Kong Dejing is playing down table, so can't play any of the balls that are in the balk area. Now that rule only applies after the break shot. A foul at any other time in the frame is ball in hand anywhere on the table. And this is what Kong Dejing does best, punish his opponent's mistake. I'd like to be leaving the pink striped 12 at the top of the table in the balk area as his last ball. That connects him nicely to the black ball to the center pocket. And that's why you saw him looking at the angle that he wants on the 13, that's just above the 6. That's to see how he gets into the 11 that's sitting on the right side of the table from our view currently. So he's not going to be going for that now. This is tricky. It looks like he wants to come inside of the black ball here. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised at the way he played that. I thought the 13 would have been the better ball to play onto the 11 as you were coming into the ball rather than across it. But also with where the balls are lying, massive favorite at the moment in this frame is Kong Dejing. Yeah, he's missed one like that before in the first frame. And that's why I said I was surprised at the route he chose. I think it was 2 shots before he played to get up to the black ball that he changed his mind, rather to take the 13, then afterwards play up. Now Chow Yupeng is going to be trying to get that 2 ball into play as soon as he can. And he has done. Now what do we have here? It's just the 3. I would say it's just a 3 that might be slightly awkward for him. A shot like that, these players get behind it. Doesn't usually offer much of a problem. Now after the 6 ball, the rest of his work is up table. As you can see, black ball nicely in the open as well. Yeah, Yeah, from the way he's landed at the moment, to me it's looking stun across, using the 2 ball for the 4 next. Depending on the angle he leaves himself with the 4, he might even be thinking of running into the 3 ball. Yeah, he's going to be very disappointed with that opportunity. I think the mind was doing so much at that stage. Was already thinking about the next angle for the 4 onto the 3, thinking about the position from the 3 to the 1. The mind was so busy that that he missed what is a pretty easy shot for these players at this stage, and that could have been his second point, punishing the mistakes from Kong Dejing, but Kong is not going to let that one go. Yeah, made it easy for him, just leaving those 3 on the table, and Kong Dejing equalizes at 1-1 in this race to 13. Hope you guys have been enjoying the streams thus far. I will be with you guys right up to the end, right up to the final of this Division 1 tour, which is on the 24th. All the live action coming your way with commentary from me, Raymond Tilak, commentator for the Joy events. And then after this tournament starts the Super Tour on the 25th up to the 4th of January. And all those live matches, the live TV table matches, will be coming to you on our Facebook page, Joy Heyball World Tour Live, as well as the WHT World Heyball Tour YouTube channel as well. Quite a big break from Kong Dejing. As you can see, everything spread out right across the table. Yeah, I was just looking at the amount of balls lying on the edge of the table here as he misses the ball to the center pocket. Third miss in 3 frames from Kong Dejing. That is not something that you see from him, especially at this level. Number of times we've had him on the TV table, the number of matches that I've watched of his, such a clinical class player. And it is still an open table here. It's a neat combination played from Chow Yupeng to secure stripes in this 3rd frame. Yeah, I'd say both these players haven't warmed up just yet. So I tell you what, when they do, you are going to see a lot of break and runs and rack and runs. He's playing to release the 14. That's his problem at the moment. On the right side of the table on our screens, the 14. Kind of locked up there, but it does go past the 7. It does go off the 7, actually. He's just had a look at that now, so he knows where he needs the cue ball to be able to play that. And I actually don't think he spotted that before. If he would have spotted that before, possibly wouldn't have needed to try and go into the 14 like he did before. He's made sure he's landed top side of the 10, which means that cue ball is naturally traveling down to this end of the table. Once the cue ball on the bottom right side of the table on our screen. Yeah, that's worked out very well. He had enough angle to actually come into it and get it off that cushion. Well played. Very well played. Have a look at this. Yeah, there was more than enough angle for him to get the cue ball around the angles for that. And you have to remember, this is off Kong De Jing's miss to the center pocket.
10秒，延时。
I'd say a touch more pace on that than he would have wanted. Don't really see any issues for him now. This 15 to the top left corner pocket on our screen. 14 waiting outside the center pocket. Now, what kind of angle does he have on the 14? And to me, it looks like the black ball does not go past the 7. The black ball's going to have to go into the top left. Yeah, he's had to settle. He's had to settle for a slightly tougher black ball than he would have wanted. Yeah, makes no mistake at all with that opportunity, and that is a rack and run from Chao Yupeng to take his second point. First one visit clearance of the match. Winners break format. Chao Yupeng to break. He is 2-1 up over Kong De Jing in this last 64 match here. Double elimination round stage 3 of the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. Now that is more like it. Has he got a shot Look at the power in that break, getting 2 into the center pocket. The cue ball just managing to come through past the 14. Yeah, I'm only seeing 5 or 6 solids left on the table. He's potted a stripe and a solid, but the solids are definitely looking much better. Well-controlled cue ball from that distance to just stun it past the 3 ball. Tough shot from that distance. Made that look much easier than it is. So easy to slightly cue across the cue ball. You might get the pot, but if you don't pot that ball into the part of the pocket you were looking for, you aren't going to get the desired reaction from the cue ball. And all of a sudden, after playing just 2 shots after the break, you can already see what's happening here. Yeah, these players at this level make this game look too simple. So far in this match, yes, it is quite early stages still, 4th frame underway now, but Cao Yupeng has been the player that's made less mistakes. As you can see, that is showing on the scoreboard. Now cue ball all the way up table for the black ball. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely plumb perfect for the black ball to the top right corner pocket on our screen. And that is our first break and run for the match. Cao Yupeng takes his 3rd point. He is 3-1 up with a rack and run followed by a break and run, and he will be breaking in the next frame as well. Now, this is where the winner's break format can get dangerous. See that they have not updated the rack and run that he had in the previous frame of Kong Dejing's break. First visit to the table was a clearance from Cao Yupeng. Yeah, he'd want to have the exact same break again. He'd love for a split like that. And of course, getting a ball in. I see the 1 into the center, the 5 into the corner as well. 2 ball almost into the top left corner. Now, having a look at the table, he's potted 2 solids on that break. Naturally, solids definitely look better. The 6 goes, did see it from the overhead. what an opening shot that is. My word. He could get through to the 7. The 7 was a much easier ball to take. Yeah, it's tough to make those decisions. It is tough, and it can be much tougher if you are the person who's down in a match. But as you can see, taking on the 6 left him on the 3. Now his work is done at the bottom end of the table. Black ball's in the top half as well, and I think that could be the reason he paused, because there is an angle from the 7 to the black ball here. Looks like he's playing just off center on the cue ball, a bit of a tip of left. There we go. Yeah, he'll take that, no problem at all. It is available to the center pocket also, in a better position to take it to the corner if he chooses to do so. So far in this match, just one error from Cao Yupeng. Otherwise, he has been absolutely flawless. Notice how calm, cool, collected and composed he is as a player as well. And look at that. Absolutely perfect. And that's his 4th point on the board with another break and run. That's 2 break and runs and 2 consecutive break and runs for Cao Yupeng. Winners break format, he'll be breaking in the next rack as well. This could be getting dangerous for Kong Dejing. All he's done is miss a ball 3 frames ago. Missed the ball to the center pocket, clearance from Cao Yupeng, and after that it's been 2 consecutive break and runs.
第6局，曹宇鹏开球。
Yeah, ball in on the break, but this time the cue ball in as well.
6局，孔德金胜，比分2比4。
是乔氏中的乔氏，全国各地区球房的典范。一句全乔氏代表着球房档次、服务、口碑全部到位，有实力日。
10秒。
Yeah, pardon the interruption, everyone. It looks like we are back and things are clear on our side again. Previous frame was Kong De Jing taking out a nice rack and run off the dry break from Chow Yupeng. And Chow Yupeng returning the favor now and getting yet another point on the board. That is his 5th point now, leading this match 5 frames to 2. It was a clutch pot to the center pocket, that 9. Cue ball off 2 cushions coming through for the black ball into the bottom right corner pocket. Now this is a race to 13. Chow Yupeng leading 5 frames to 2. And there we have the stats. 2 break-in runs, 1 rack and run, 2 consecutive from Chow Yupeng. Kong De Jing just with the 1 rack and run. Now I do know some of you viewers might have not heard the term rack and run before. It is reverse dish or reverse break and run, you could say. It's after your opponent has had a break, potted a ball or not, and it's your first visit to the table. So even if they go ahead and clear the table off their break, miss the black ball, and you are able to clear the table on your first visit to the table, that counts as a rack and run. Now these stats are quite important. They are all recorded on the Heyball database here in China. So if you have WeChat, you can access that app. And it shows you all the stats of the players, including break and runs, rack and runs, age, when they started playing. I was having a look at the draw for stage 3, and surprise, surprise, it looks like Zhang Taiyi is out of the tournament. Zhang Taiyi, finalist at the Joy Heyball Masters Grand Finals in Chengdu earlier this year. He was up against Niu Zhang in that final. I think the fatigue got him of just playing 2 matches a day in that double elimination stage 3 of that tournament. Zhang Taiyi also World Games Heyball gold medalist. Now all the matches on at the moment in stage 3. It is race to 13 winner break format, no time limit. And I have to mention that out of the 64 players remaining in this tournament, we started off with about 712 players. There's just 1 international player left, and that is Jose Alberto Delgado from Spain. He's currently playing against Zhang Zhuanghao on table 16, and he's up 5-3 with 2 break and runs, 1 rack and run. So Jose is picking up from where he left off yesterday. Played really, really well to get into the stage of the tournament. Honestly, he is looking poised to go very, very deep into this one. On table 20, we have Shen Shenyi up against Wang Senua. Score there, 6-2 to Shen Shenyi. Sun Yuan is still in the draw as well. Sun Yuan, you would know, was in the final of the Baotou station as well. He's 5-1 up against Zhang Wenbo. Otherwise, looking at the score lines, most of them are quite close. As it looks like the scoreline is about to get closer as well, with Kong Dejing taking another point. That's the thing, when he starts to warm up, this is exactly what's happened, and that's 8 frames played, score 5-3 in favor of Cao Yupeng, and that will be a player break.
比赛专用，提醒您，精彩比赛马上开始。一线赛事指定台名：丁俊晖、奥沙利文、郑宇博、楚秉杰等国内外一线球星代言。利百文台泥，高档羊毛皂。一点是聚焦、沉淀。一线是专注、艺术；一面是缜密、智慧。方寸间雕刻，毫厘间镶嵌。成木质之美，雕琢洞天；与腾龙之势，巧思匠心。以点线面，以小线大，步步为营，丝丝入扣，毫厘间不失方寸，握度间尽长天地。龙跃而起，潮流之势，包罗万象，读蜘蛛，匠心之作。河北省天一集团创立于2013年，注册资金500万，员工230余名，有着10余年的生产经验及研发设计、生产销售于一体的大型生产企业。优秀的员工、先进的技术、精良的设备，严格的管理使公司得以不断的发展壮大。精确、可靠、专业是我们生产的精神和服务信念。
天一沙发让舒适无处不在。
我是代言人郑卫国，星星暴走，年轻自由。
我是代言人雨龙海，星星暴走，年轻自由。
我是代言人楚秉杰，星星暴走，年轻自由。
Born in Louisiana. My mama told my papa our little boy has got the blues. You better watch what you do to me. Watch what you do to me. How much? I'll be sorry. That's for no question.
冠军500万乔氏大师赛官方供应商，正红胶边均匀回弹，铸就一流打感，持续助力中式台球职业化联赛，制造好球桌。胶边选正红。
俺老孙啥功名不要。 只求回到这花果山中了，过过逍遥日子。
天要球杆，化一切为可能。中式八球，俗称黑八，是一项原创于中国的运动，在乔氏的推动下，已走进全球96个国家。乔氏中式八球，风靡全球的中国运动。
暂停结束比赛，继续第9局，孔德金开球。
And we are back after that player break. So it is a player break after every 8 frames played. Score is 5-3 in favor of Zhao Yupeng. He is up against Kong Dejing, who's currently breaking as he did win the previous frame with another rack and run. But the break is not there. It's just not there yet for Kong Dejing. Also, to me, it looks like 3-ball is open to go. Although there is quite a lot of work to do on this table for solids. If he can get the angle on the 5, that would be his ball to use to disturb a few of those balls top left-hand side of the table. As you can see, the 1 does go by itself, but the problem is the 2 and black ball are tied up. And if he is deciding to go into this, you need to be careful here. You are not guaranteed to land on any of them. Yeah, purposely played it cushion first to come from behind. As you see the replay of this, you have a look at that. Cushion first to release the 2 from that side. He's caught the 12, which has pushed the 2 out. And he will take that every day of the week. And with that previous shot opening the 2, the black ball now is potable into that top left corner pocket after the 1 is removed. It's quite interesting what he's done there. He's actually saw him going around to have a look at potting the 2 into the center after playing the 1. Now, so many of us would take care of the 4 and 6 and then make our way to the 2-1. What he's done there is, if he is able to get nicely on his next object ball, He's home free. The black ball is nicely open now. Doesn't have the 1 and the 2 to worry about. Because can you imagine, it would be quite tricky leaving the 2 and 1 as your last balls, either getting from the 2 to the 1 or the 1 to the 2 and then for the black ball. They weren't the perfect connectors for that black ball into that top left corner pocket. Oh, this is good. That is advanced positional play and cue ball movement from Cao Yupeng. He's an absolute master at these patterns and figuring out the pattern play. One of the best I've seen. This has been nothing short of fantastic. When he came to the table, it was not good at all. Just had one ball that was potable. That was the 3 to the top right. And just like that, capitalizing off Kong Dejing's dry break, that is another rack and run for Cao Yupeng. And that brings the scoreline to 6 frames to 3 over Kong Dejing. We should see those stats as well. It should be 2 rack and runs, 2 break and runs for Cao Yupeng. 2 consecutive break and runs as well, and 2 rack and runs for Kong Dejing. There we go, 6-3, 2-2-2. Yeah, by that you can see which players had the better breaks and who's made fewer mistakes as well. I have to say, of course, besides the quality of the players at this tournament, what a fantastic tournament done by Joy Billiards once again, and Lieber Windcloth, always pulling out all the stops to give the players and the viewers at home the best experience of this game. Yeah, I'm as surprised as he is. If we would have seen another break there that went his way, we would have been looking at another point on the scoreboard. But it's Kong that needs to do something. 6-3 down, race to 13. That finish line is not that far away for Cao Yupeng. And Kong has taken his extension already. Players get 1 extension. In a frame, so it's 45 seconds a shot. And 1 extension of 30 seconds. Now that 45 seconds, you might think that is quite a long time, but I guarantee you, as soon as that cue ball stops moving, the referee clicks that stopwatch and time is counting. After 35 seconds, you are getting a warning that there are 10 seconds left and a countdown when 5 seconds are left. Was played well, a lot of top right hand side on that cue ball, going against the cue ball's natural movement there. As you see, checking off that bottom cushion on our screen to get into the 11 ball. So he's released the 11, but he has not been fortunate with the cue ball. He deserved a little bit more with that shot. He stayed down to watch that one go in. You saw it clip off the jaw there. It was quite close. Yeah, and you do see Kong De Jing. He is quite creative with his cue ball movement around the table. It's one thing I like about this player, and I think that's the reason he's got a lot of fans here in China and overseas as well. He's a shot maker. He's a player that can make a finish out of nowhere. But the problem is, like that, when you are having a bad day and things are not going your way, this game can be so cruel, so difficult, and you are playing against a player who's currently not making many mistakes in Zhao Yupeng. So far, I've only seen one mistake from him in 9 frames. No matter how good of a shot maker you are, things have to be slightly going your way, and you have to be getting some opportunities at least. He couldn't do much with that. Snookered behind the 3 ball by his own hand. He's back in his seat. And the question is he going to get back to this table in this frame? You know, we are yet to see those crazy statistics of 5 or 6 consecutive runouts. But I can guarantee you, stay tuned, because that is definitely coming in this tournament. As we get into the latter stages, you see the players just starting to play better and better, and it's making less mistakes as well, as they know how important it is. And that's when you really see their best, when they need it. Yeah, he's played that, and he's also played to try and get the cue ball safe, but Kong De Jing will come to the table with half a chance here. Problem is, it's not just the pot and the 13, it's the position after that. That's his last remaining object ball on the table. And that's why he's chosen to go that way. Was straight into the bottom right corner pocket, but that wouldn't have given him any kind of shape on the black ball. So taking it to the bottom left would have meant pushes through the angle and has a reasonable attempt on the black ball if the 13 falls, but it didn't. Once again, Zhao Yupeng to the table. It's just the 4-ball that could be a slight problem for him. It's close to the cushion and just under the center pocket on the right-hand side of the table. Yeah, but also have a look at the amount of connectors he has to get to that 4 if he needs to. He's got the 2, he's got the 5, he's even got the 7, depending on the angle that he leaves himself with. Bit of check to bring the cue ball back to the side, going against the cue ball's natural trajectory there. Was slightly off angle on that 7. Are you going to see him land low on the 2? Yeah, he's not hit that in the part of the pocket he would have liked. And that's why I feel he could have been lower on this 2 ball to try and get into that 4. That is absolutely inch-perfect execution from Zhao Yupeng. That is one of the greatest little nudges I've seen in a long time. The control he played that with, the pace. And this is what I was referring to earlier. Kong De Jing is up against a player who is absolutely clinical. And makes the finish, gets his 7th frame on the board. Zhao Yupeng really, really punishing Kong De Jing in this match now. It was a multi-visit frame, so stats stay the same. Zhao Yupeng, 2 break-and runs, 2 rack-and runs, 2 consecutive break-and runs. And Kong De Jing with just the 2 rack-and runs so far. The score is 7 frames to 3 for Zhao Yupeng. Race to 13, last 64 match here in Stage 3 at the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour, where we will see the final on the 24th of this month at 7:30 p.m. local time here in China. Now, if you are looking for the draw and the standings in this tournament, even from Stage 1, that is all on the WHT Facebook page. That's World Heyball Tour Facebook page, along with a lot of pictures from the tournament, a lot of videos, and some interviews as well, done by Doris Cheng and her team. You can find that all on the WHT Facebook page. Now, if you want to find out more about the tables being used at this event, that is the Joy Heyball World Tour tables page. We do have a tables page where you can find out more information about the Q8 tables that are being used at this tournament. And of course, you can contact the Joy staff or Doris Cheng directly for more information on the tables and purchasing, of course. At this tournament, we are playing on the Lieberwin 8848 cloth. Makes such a difference to be using premium equipment for these tournaments worldwide. Now, for players who do have a table like this at home, it means they are playing on the exact same conditions they practice on. And for players who play some of the other tournaments around the world, it means that the conditions stay the same or as close to as possible. And as a player, it makes a world of difference knowing you are playing on a cloth that you are familiar with, a cloth that you've played on before. You know, the reaction's going to be the same, you know, the speed's going to be the same. Yes, of course, wear does come into play. Temperature, humidity does affect things, but at the end of the day, you are playing on very similar conditions, conditions that you are used to. And that's Kong Dejing swinging the cue ball around two cushions. Not an easy pot to that center pocket. Had to power that in. But he has been struggling now. Can he make sure? Can he get this point on the board? Yeah, if we see a replay of that, you can see he caught that slightly too thick. And that's the reason that cue ball has not run enough. You'd be surprised what a huge difference that makes. Which part of the pocket you pot the ball in. Would have been able to get at least a few more rolls out of the cue ball had he potted thinner. As you can see, that 13 ball didn't pot cleanly. It had to go in off the 15. Yeah, he's taking his time with this. I would say a bit of high left on the cue ball is going to be naturally coming behind the black ball. Now, I really thought he would have played that differently. Thought he would have played it with a little bit more power, get it to arc a little bit, come onto the cushion, and the cue ball was definitely going to be coming into the black ball or the 3 ball, clearing that up for himself. And this is a tough black ball, being down at the moment as well. It's not there. It's not there. Kong Dejing, he has been slightly sloppy with the positional play, I'm afraid. Now in these situations, what we usually see, player that has more balls on the table, in this case Chow Yu Peng having 7 object balls on the table, has quite the advantage. I mean, there's so much that he can do. He can use this time to get his balls into better position, at the same time leave the cue ball safe. Yeah, unlucky from Kong there, catching the center pocket jaw, and that will be a foul, failing to make contact with his black ball. Ball in hand anywhere on the table for Chow Yu Peng. Yeah, that's a very clever shot indeed from Chow Yu Peng. Using his ball in hand to play the 5, to play the black ball off the cushion. At the same time, leaving the cue ball right behind the 6. It's going to mean another indirect attempt from Kong Dejing. And it's just pushed wide. Now in his advantage, he's actually pushed the 3 safe onto the cushion there, as you can see. Yeah, and it's straight away sorted out with that ball in hand from Chow Yu Peng. Getting that 3 back out into open play. Look at the amount of angle he was able to cue through that. Yeah, it was just that 6 ball that was slightly tricky for him. Otherwise, as you can see, just 3 object balls left for Chow Yu Peng. He's been absolutely dominating this match thus far. I think still just on one error throughout the entire match. Also plays this game in such a simple way. Excellent pattern play, positional play, advanced cue ball movement around the table. Never holding back on the cue ball, always playing the right shot. Now, even that, in a case like that, you'd be so tempted to try and play a soft screw to hold the cue ball, but doesn't do that. Gets his 8 point on the board, and that was off that missed black ball from Kong Dejing. It was also a multi-visit frame, but as you can see, the player that had more balls on the table was able to keep that advantage, keep his opponent at bay, didn't give him a chance at that black ball, used the ball in hand to his favor, and yeah, was able to get that point on the board. As you can see, sometimes it's not all about the break and runs and rack and runs, it's about winning those frames that can get tightly contested. At the end of the day, it's about getting the point on the board, whichever way you can. That's exactly what Zhao Yupeng is doing. He's currently 8-3 up against Kong Dejing in this race to 13. I think that is the second time in this match that he's potted the cue ball off the break. As you see the cue ball going into the bottom left corner pocket, and it's quite an open table for the incoming Kong Dejing. And the last international player left standing, Jose Alberto Delgado from Spain, is currently 8-4 up in his match at the moment. 2 break and runs, 1 rack and run for him. And it's a race to 13 as well, and he's played some excellent pool to make it this far in this tournament. And he is some of the greatest form that I've seen him in so far. These Heyball tournaments is Jose Alberto Delgado. And our other feature match, Shen Shenyi up against Wang Sunhua. Shen Shenyi is 12-3 up against Wang Sunhua at the moment, and that is with 5 break and runs to his name. So really putting on a masterclass is Shen Shenyi. from what I can see, Kong needs to tighten up that cue ball a little bit. Playing a little bit faster and loose with the cue ball. And it's been that way this entire match thus far. Even the clearances that he did make. It's not the usual that we see from him. So used to a more clinical approach from Kong Dejing. But also with these matches having no time limit, it means that there is still a chance to make a comeback. It's only 8-3. Chow Yupeng still needs 5 more to get to the finish line. And coincidentally, he's 5 ahead of his opponent, but not for long. That is a well-executed rack and run from Kong Dejing to clear up in that 12th frame. And winners break format. Kong Dejing to break now in the 13th frame, trailing 8 frames to 4 from Chow Yupeng. Ball into the center, got a kick into the center, 4 ball as well there. Yeah, it was a 12 getting a kick off the 13 and into the center, and there we see the 4 into the same center pocket, so he's potted 2 off that break. Can he hold the table? He's looking to secure stripes, playing this 11 into the center, but he has to be so careful here. So close. Distance between the object ball and the cue ball is so easy to push through or double touch the cue tip onto the cue ball, but he's done well to get that in and secure stripes. Now it looks like he's going to finish up the top end of the table. 14's there to connect him back to the bottom. But again, he's gonna need a good positional shot. He looks to be coming down the right-hand side on our screen. Now you leave it long, you're heading towards the bottom corner pocket, you're looking at possibly ending up behind the green 6. I'd be aiming at just past the center pocket. Yeah, you're actually playing to leave it slightly short, and it looks like he's played that almost perfectly. This is much better now from Kong Dejing. This is what we've been expecting. Very well played. Takes his 5th point, and that is his first break and run for this match. So it looks like he is staying at the stable winners break format. He'll be breaking again from 5 behind. He is now just 3 behind Chow Yupeng.
第14局，孔德金开球。
Needs to get a ball in on this break as well. That's the only way he's going to keep his opponent in that seat. A lot of power in that. Nice control from the cue ball as well there. Yeah, that's good. Potted the ball in the center pocket. Now let's have a look at the layout. Yeah, it's not looking that friendly at first glance. I'd say the main reason for that is if you are looking at stripes, you're looking at the 15 and 13, which currently don't go into the bottom left corner pocket because of the 2 and the 1. If that problem was fixed, then stripes are pretty decent. Yeah, to me it looked like he was playing that shot. I wasn't sure. If he would go for that, but then again it is Kong Dejing. Those are the kind of shots he plays. Lovely little carom off the 15 to pot the 9 with the cue ball. This is what I meant. He's a shot maker. Just with that little clever shot, able to open up the 13 and the 15. And I did say if he is able to do that, stripes look a lot better than they did when he first came to the table. And it looks like prime Kong Dejing is back in this match. This is what he needed. This is what we wanted to see. Beautiful. It was a very well executed break and run from Kong. It was not an easy one. Had a little bit of work to do in that one, but another well executed break and run. 2 break and runs, 3 rack and runs from Kong Dejing, and just like that, he's right back in this match with 2 consecutive break and runs as well. The score is 8-6. From 8-3 down to 8-6. That's 3 on the spin for Kong Dejing. Yeah, now this is where the winner's break format comes into play. If you are down, as he was, you are able to get right back into the match. You're able to hold the table, stay at the table. He's made a ball again into the center pocket. Does he have an opening shot? I think he should have. From here already, it looks like the stripes go to the center pocket, as we see the 7 going down into the right center pocket. There are stripes available to the left center. And just like that, it's now 3 frames that Chow Yupeng hasn't really had a shot. Well, 2 frames where he hasn't got up off his seat, and the other frame, all he did was break. And that's what started this comeback. The rack and run followed by 2 consecutive break and runs from Kong Dejing. He's got the momentum on his side as well. Looks like he's also starting to handle the cue ball a little bit better. And this has been the format throughout this tournament. It's been winner's break all the way from the beginning, no time limit. So even in stage 1, where we had about 712 participants, it was a race to 7, double elimination, winner's break format all the way, no time limit. And I think that's the first time that we've implemented the no time limit policy in the early stages of the tournament, which I think is absolutely great. Because that actually lets you make that comeback if you are 5-1 down or 5-2 down in a race to 7. Now, if it was a time limit match, you 5-2 down, by that time, time can be an issue. You start to glance at the match clock. But having no time limit lets you find yourself, find your game, find your break. Yeah, from over 700 participants down to the last 64. We are on day 8 of this tournament. This is the Division 1 tour that you are watching here at the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station. I'm sure you've been watching our recent streams or all our streams. You'd have seen that we are usually in Qingquantao, Chengdu. Recently we were in Zhejiang. So this tour pretty much moves all over China. Now in the city of Nanning in southern China, quite close to the Vietnam border. It is the capital of the Guangxi region and it is known as the Green City.
第15局，孔德金胜，比分7比8，开球清台。谢谢。
今天给大家推荐一款非常好的台。
And there was another break and run from Kong Dejing. He's on 3 consecutive now, and he's really making this comeback now is Kong Dejing. It's worrying stages for Chao Yupeng. If Kong is able to take the lead.
根据我自己用了1年多的这个台泥，这个 H153特别适合我们球房用，一些中小型比赛也。
第16局，孔德金开球。
So the score should be 8-7 now. Kong Dejing, 3 consecutive break and runs, 3 rack and runs. Chao Yupeng, 2 consecutive break and runs and 2 rack and runs. And I was just about to say, it's so amazing watching these matches, how the game changes for each player. And once again, cue ball in on the break, he's given that a little bit too much power, I think. He's lost the cue ball slightly. And after not being at the table for, say, 3.5 to 4 frames, that is, his last visit to the table was a break 4 frames ago. Kong Dejing has pretty much put him in the electric chair there. That is a term usually used in American pool or 9-ball when your opponent starts running racks on you and you sit in that chair absolutely helpless. Now the level of play at these tournaments, you're starting to see that in the game of Heyball as well. Players starting to run 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 consecutive break and runs. Not an easy place to be in when you are sitting in that chair and pretty much watching your opponent take on those frames or reduce the lead that you work so hard to get. But I'd say, and from personal experience, one of the worst times for that to happen is at the beginning of a match. How fortunate has he been for that cue ball not to go into the center pocket there. Love to see a replay of that. I know there was a lot of side on that cue ball and that actually checked it out of the center pocket jaws. I think it's only a second miss in the entire match. It is for Chao Yupeng. And that was quite a way off. So he's brought Kong Dejing back to the table. Now this is still the first round of the round of 64. Double elimination, so all players currently playing have 2 lives left. Yeah, now it's an excellent opportunity for Kong to continue with the momentum that he's had in the last 4 frames. It's taken Kong quite a while to get started in this match. And I'd say that's why sometimes these medium races or the longer race lengths tend to be his favorite. So you have to remember, if this was a race to 7, it was over. He only actually came to the party at 8-3 down. Yeah, race to 7, you have to be on it from the beginning. There's absolutely no time to waste. Focusing on the black ball there, trying to nudge the black ball out for the center pocket. So he's just taken his eye off the pot slightly there. And after that huge momentum run from Kong Dejing, we have multiple visit frame. And that's because the cue ball went in. If that cue ball didn't go in and he potted a ball on that break, we already might be looking at Kong Dejing taking the lead in this match. But this is a chance for Chow Yupeng. Oh, the cue ball needs to hold up. It needs to hold up. It hasn't. He shakes his head. He's cued that too well. Now Kong, having pushed the black ball in front of the 15, as you can see, he's trying to line up to see exactly where he can pot it from. It's not that simple, but he can throw this in with a bit of side. Yeah, he should be good. I'd be playing this with the touch of bottom left. Yeah, he's done well there. did play it with a touch of bottom left at Kong Dejing, and he has equalized the scoreline. 5 frames on the spin for Kong Dejing from 8-3 down to 8-all, and that brings us to 16 frames played. Score 8 apiece. The last time we had our 8-frame break, the score was 5-3. So in the last 8 frames, 5 frames won by Kong Dejing, just 3 by Zhao Yupeng. So we will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
俺老孙啥功名不要，只求回到这花果山中了，过过逍遥日子。
天要求干，化一切为可能。欧尚地毯突破核心科技，从智能车间到高品质球房，重新定义标准，为每一个台球梦想铺好第一步。铺好毯，打好球，不掉毛，零干扰。
职业选手的第一选择，欧尚地毯，掉毛地毯终结者。
超级蓝钻皮头职业版，采用进口头层水牛皮，韧性好，弹性持久，颗颗精选，粒粒碾压，严格质检。世界职业球员必用的皮头，超级蓝钻，祝您夺冠！
罂粟胶边具有国内胶边很难做到的特点，罂粟胶边的硬度达到了45度，使反射角高度接近入射角。罂粟整条胶边误差小于20丝，因而各部位酷性一致。欢迎各品牌厂家使用罂粟胶边来提升台球桌的专业性能。好胶边罂粟皂，好胶边罂粟皂。
超级蓝钻皮头，黄金版、白金版，采用进口头层水牛皮，颗颗精选，严格质检，韧性好，弹性持久，世界职业球员必用的皮头，超级蓝钻，一专业，缔造不凡。2025赛季中式八球大师赛收官之战，利百文台泥乔氏杯2025中式八球大师赛南宁站 全球顶尖选手着陆绿城南宁，甲级赛、超级赛近1000万奖金池，虚位以待。赛事与首届南宁台球产业博览会同步启幕，以沉浸式体验空间展现中国制造，以国际高峰论坛探索品牌出海新路径，深耕南方市场，拓展。
暂停结束，比赛继续。第17局，孔德金开球。
And we are back with this last 64 match here at the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. On the TV table, Zhao Yupeng up against Kong Dejing. And the scoreline was 8-3 to Zhao Yupeng. And what a comeback it's been. 5 frames on the spin for Kong Dejing, which included 3 consecutive break-in runs as well. And the score is now 8-all in this race to 13. It is winners break format as well. And Kong currently has the momentum with him. Effectively a race to 5 for both players now. A good pot on the 5 to secure solids. To me, the 4 looks like it is still available into the center pocket. It is not completely hampered by the 11. Been a little bit fortunate there as Kong. Now he'd be turning his attention to the 6 and the 7, top left of the table on our screen. Managed to find the gap for the 4 there nicely with the cue ball between black ball. From behind, nudge the 6 out. Yeah, that could have worked out a little bit better for him. Yeah, if that works out, you have to know that's another break and run, and Kong takes the lead. But having a look at the layout, he's got another opportunity to get into the 6 and the 7. And there it is. This is prime Kong Dejing. Honestly, a marvel to watch when he's playing like this. If he'd be able to play at this level in every single match from the beginning of every match, he'd definitely be one of the best in the world. He's currently, I would put him definitely top 10, top 5. Once again, he has not made things easy for himself, having to use the rest on the shot to get position on the black ball, to try and keep his opponent in that chair.
10秒。5、4。
Managed to get the position now, this to take the lead for Kong De-jing. It's there, he's definitely making his opponent very comfortable in that chair. Kong De-jing takes the lead with yet another break and run. He is 9-8 up against Chow Yu-peng. Yeah, and there you see the stats. That's 4 break and runs for Kong De-jing, 3 of them consecutive. That's how he was able to claw his way back into this match. I do believe it is the first time in this match that he has the lead. Breaking again in this winner's break format. It is race to 13. And he is just 4 away. I think it would be quite a tough victory for him, as things were definitely not going his way in the early stages of this match. But you have to remember, race to 13, no time limit. There's still time for things to change. Are we going to see yet another change in the tides in this match? I was going to say, if that was a dry break, which it almost was, Chow Yu-peng would relish the opportunity to come back to the table and try and get a few points on the board quickly and try and keep Kong De-jing in his seat. And that's solid secured. In Heyball rules, you can play solid onto solid or stripe onto stripe to secure that color. You can't play solid onto stripe. That'd just be a loss of turn open table. The ball you make has to be the ball you contacted first in order to secure color in Heyball rules. There it is. That's the first miss in a while from Kong De-jing. And the center pocket getting him again. That's the second time. Second time the center pocket's got him. So Chow Yu-peng to the table, 9-8 down. And the last time he was in control of this match, he was 8-3 up. He's playing stripes in this frame.
10秒。5、4。
Yeah, it's a good shot. In that scenario, it's so easy to come to the table, and I mean, when you had a look at Stripes at first, it was not looking good at all. That one shot, he opens up the 14 and the 13, plays the 13 next.
10秒。
From what I can see, it's just the 9 now, and whether or not it goes to the center pocket, well, it definitely goes now. Black ball is available as well. This is the clinical cue ball movement of Chow Yu-peng. From what I've seen in this match thus far alone, his cue ball movement is really something special. His pattern play, look, he's known for how simple he makes the game. He's one of the best players in China.
10秒。延时。
He's known for his consistency at the top level. What I like about how he plays this game is how simple he makes it look. He's gonna need one of those good positional shots to get nicely on the black ball here, though. He needs us to run a little bit more, a few rolls more for the black ball into the center pocket. I think he's... Yeah, it's hard to tell from the overhead, but he's right down on the shot. And it's there. Gets the equalizer, does Chow Yu-peng. Score is 9-all at the moment against Kong Dejing in this race to 13.
轩辕、赤霄、龙渊、干将、默邪、纯君、成瘾，引领市场，肯定未来，林肯球杆。
第19局，曹宇鹏开球。
Yeah, that was much better from Chow Yu-peng, but that's what he's going to do, given even half an opportunity. And that was not off a dry break, that was off a missed pot from Kong Dejing, so that's going to sting a little bit. Missed that pot to the center, and look at the break. He has hit that so well. He's got the two balls into the center pocket. Cue ball controlled as well. The cue ball did get a kick from the 6, but if you looked at the control off the pack, really you couldn't have hit that any better. Score 9-all, and that was a rack and run from Chow Yu-peng, so he should be on 3 rack and runs, 2 break and runs, 2 of which were consecutive. Stripes in play, the 13 at the bottom right goes off the 4. Depending on how he's feeling, he might not even need to use the 4. Been cueing those really well all session. Yeah, there it is. He's on the 13 now to the bottom right corner pocket on our screens. Yeah, use the 4, and I've also just noticed that I've been deceived by the camera angle because that was actually the 12 ball. And it wasn't only me that thought it was the 13, because the 13 was the ball that was still on the screen under Chow Yupeng's name. But yeah, that was a 12 off the 4. My apologies for that. It's sometimes tough to see the colors from here. Yeah, it's a little bit close for comfort on the 10. Might need to put the extension on his cue. The cue ball is more than halfway down the table. These are 9-foot tables, so you are stretching quite a bit, and referee says no extension on his time, which means he's used it already for this frame. And Chow Yupeng gets his 10th point, adds another break and run to his tally. He's now on 3 break and runs, 3 rack and runs, and 10-9 up against Kong Dejing in this race to 13. And this is going to be hurting Kong. I think you can live with your opponent capitalizing off your dry break, but not easy to sit there knowing that they're capitalizing off a miss where you had an opportunity, you were on the table, and you missed a ball, and that's the reason they are busy getting these points on the board. And just like that, tables have turned. Kong Dejing is the player making himself comfortable in that seat. We come to a stage in the match where one of these players, if they are on the table breaking, they could run the entire match out. Chow Yupeng on 10, just needs 3 more points. Pots 2 balls once again, the cue ball gets kicked. He's gotten a horrible kick from the 5. Really a horrible kick on the cue ball for the cue ball to end up down there. Look, there is something I can see, but that is, yeah, that's exactly what he's looking at. That's 13-12 to the top pocket off the 11. Yeah, what a shot that is to get right. That's very tough. You miss that, you're leaving your opponent in. If he's not taking that, he might be going safe, but I don't see a safety on, so I think this is what he has to take on. No. Straight away he knew it. That's how tough that shot was, to get that combination to line up, to get the 12 heading towards the 11. And that's all because of the kick off the 5 after the break. Gives Kong Dejing the opportunity to secure stripes. Yeah, I think this is an all-out fight now to the finish line. First, it looked like it wasn't going to be such a close match. Kong Dejing was just not here for the first half of the match, but once he arrived, took the lead in very, very impressive fashion. And even that, look at that shot, to just release the black ball. Like some players wouldn't even, they'd play to land on it, play to play it down that cushion, but 10-9 down, race to 13. Don't want to be taking any chances. That's why he's moved that black ball into such a potable position now. He knows the most important shot is now getting position on the 15 from the 11. This is looking hard. This is looking too pacey. Oh my word, Kong Dejing. What have you done? From this camera angle, 15 definitely available to the centers, and I think even past the black ball. So he didn't have to do all that much, but that's sometimes how tough it can be, trying to get position off a ball that's so close to the jaws or right in the jaws. It's called his extension, and for good reason. He looks like he's cutting this into the center pocket. He is, and if there's one player who can pull off a shot like that, it's Kong Dejing. What a recovery. Look, there shouldn't have been a need for that, but has a brilliant recovery shot. Shot of the match thus far, that cut into the center pocket. Yeah, he's not going to be too happy with that, but the main thing is he's got the point on the board. I believe the score is 10-all. Race to 13. And that is another rack and run for Kong Dejing. There you see 4-4, 3-3 on that side, and 3 consecutives for Kong Dejing. So just slightly up on the break and run and rack and run tally is Kong Dejing. Scores 10-all, effectively a race to 3 now for both these players. An advantage has to be with the player breaking, which is Kong Dejing. Don't see anything in yet. No, and there comes glove on from Chow Yupeng. What a time to have a dry break. Yeah, but I tell you what, at a stage like this in a match, especially now, stage 3, last 64, especially when you know your opponent's fighting back. You know chances don't come easily, few and far between at the moment. Nothing is simple. Everything requires utmost attention. You have to be absolutely clinical. And this is why you see some players who you've seen that are such great players sometimes are not able to make it deep into tournaments, and you wonder why. It's times like this where the grit factor shows up. To be able to grind through these last frames, I tell you, the mind can do such strange things to you. Then of course to still choose the right shot, which is sometimes the tougher shot, which might give you an easier finish. But to choose that shot, so that's where the hours of preparation and practice, and of course mental training comes into play. And you've conditioned your mind to do exactly that, no matter the situation. And you can hear there's more extensions recently. So a few seconds extra taken on each shot. Like, I think he's come a roll too far on that. He would have liked to be slightly higher. It's the reason he's gotten off the shot. Compose himself, back down. It's there. The pot is there. Look at the gap he was playing into. He plays that any wider, he's behind the 3 ball. Plays it any closer, he's right on top of the black ball. And Zhao Yupeng takes the lead once again. He's 11-10 up against Kong Dexing, showing us exactly why.
指定台名丁俊晖、奥沙利文、郑宇博、楚秉杰的国内外一线球星代言。利百文台泥，高档羊毛皂。
And that was off a dry break from Kong Dexing. I remember saying that he has the advantage. That was off the dry break of Kong Dexing's. Be looking at some of the live scores, which are going to be posted on the WHT page as well as my personal Facebook page. And if this is the first time you are on one of the Joy streams, I'm your commentator for the Joy events, Raymond Tilak from South Africa. So I'll be sharing the streams on my pages as well. And of course, you can find them shared on the WHT Joy Heyball World Tour live page and World Heyball Tour YouTube page as well. Now, the score in particular that I'm looking for is from the last remaining international player left in this last 64, and that is Jose Alberto Delgado from Spain. And he has won his match 13-5 over Zhang Zhuanghao with 4 break and runs, 1 rack and run. Massive congratulations to Jose Alberto Delgado, the last international player left standing.
10秒。5、4、3。
And the reason I say that, last international player left standing, and the reason it's such a big deal is because in this tournament, the Division 1 tour, has around 60 international players mixed with around 650 Chinese players, open draw. And when I'm talking about Chinese players, I'm talking about Zhang Taiyi, Zhang Kongpang. Those are the names that are playing here in the open draw, so you can get one of them first round. And that's why for an international player to make it this deep in the tournament, to make it to stage 3, to make it to the last 64, winning that match, he's guaranteed a top 48 place in this tournament. Yeah, he's as shocked as we are. Did he get a kick? I'd love to see the replay of that. Maybe slightly, maybe just a touch. And that's why you see Kong Dejing getting the cue ball cleaned as well. But to me, it didn't look like much of a kick, but that's what a kick does. It pushes the ball wide, bad contact with the cue ball and object ball. Usually because of some chalk dust on the cue ball, it so happens at that point contacts the object ball and causes a bad, unclean contact. Yeah, but what a time for that to happen to Chow Yupeng. Yeah, this was nice as well. Kong Dejing doing what he does best. Getting rid of the problem ball, which was the 1. Couldn't go past the 10 into the bottom right corner pocket on our screen. Opened it and plays it. Really, I can't really call a winner here. If you ask me halfway through, it looked like Chow Yupeng definitely had the advantage. It's definitely one up over Kong Dejing. But now it looks like we are going 11 all. Yeah, it's too tough to call. It's whoever can keep the break. That's what it's going to come down to. I don't think we are going to see that many more mistakes. Cued that well. Kong Dejing capitalizes off that missed 10 ball and gets his 11th point on the board. It is 11 all. in this race to 13, last 64 match here in stage 3. And that is another rack and run from Kong Dejing. Look at the stats there though. That's 9 one-visit clearances out of 11 frames. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's around an 85% to definitely more than 80% one-visit clearance rate here in this match from Kong Dejing. Yet he has been making a few errors. So minus those errors, minus his slow start, he's going to make the 5, and the hand goes up slightly as well. Yeah, it's the only time you'll see players apologizing on the break is in China. Have never seen that before. But we see it here because they do break to make certain balls, and that usually is the ball in the center pocket. They break with such intention. I think that's also why we stopped using the magic rack, because it was ridiculous. It was 2 balls into the center pocket every single break, almost 100% potting a ball on the break rate. That's why we have switched over to the triangle, and it's been quite a while already. So players, of course, have adapted to the triangle. And I'd say it's more so about hitting them proper flush through the center, having good cue ball control with some power as well, power control, just a good clean hit. And you are usually making a ball into the center pocket or sometimes bottom corners as well. Now a shot like that he's just played, if you've played Heyball a few times, you'd know that that's not an easy shot. It's another shot that these players make look very easy. At that pace, to keep the accuracy going down the cushion, playing into such a small angle of that corner pocket. And also, if you've never played this game and you are watching the Joy tournaments live and the TV table, I can tell you these players really, they do make this game look so much easier than it is. And that's based on the countless hours of practice they put in, the number of tournaments they play, always match ready, always match fit, 6 to 8 hours a day. And one thing about these players is playing in a tournament doesn't affect their practice schedule. What I mean by that is these 2 players you see here, after this match, most probably straight after this match, they'll be in the practice room, which we have here. We have a practice venue with, I believe it's 60 tables. 60 Joy Q8 tables at the practice venue. And this is why they can do things like that. Kong Dejing takes his 12th point. It's 12-11 up. Should get the stats. Yes, it is 5 break-in runs, 5 rack-in runs for Kong Dejing. And he's on the hill in this race to 13, breaking as well from being 8-3 down earlier in this match against Chow Yupeng. All he wants to do is make a ball. You see, that's an extra few seconds he's taken there to compose himself for this break. Three almost going in. I don't see a ball in though. Nothing. That is a dry break from Kong Dejing. Over to you, Chow Yupeng. What can you do? Are you going to give us a deciding frame? I think he is. I think we are going to see a deciding frame here. Looks to me like he wants to take care of things. Top end of the table, use the 7 to come down for the 3. That would be a good connector to play the 3 with. It's another very important shot to know, to be able to stun the ball like that perfectly. You're able to exploit the angles to your advantage and just get those little intricate cue ball movements. As you can see, purposely left himself high on the 7. I honestly don't think he thought he was getting another chance. I think he was sat there thinking this might be done. Yeah, once again, flawless from Chow Yupeng. And if he's able to secure this point, it means he's going to be breaking in the decider. And he does so. That is a rack and run, and what a time to get one of those from Chow Yupeng. That is 24 frames played, 12 all. And we will be having a decider, and that will be after the player break.
比赛专用，提醒您，精彩比赛马上开始。 一线赛事指定台迷丁俊晖、奥沙利文、郑宇博、楚秉杰等国内外一线球星代言。利百文台泥，高档羊毛皂。
一点是聚焦、沉淀；一线是专注、艺术；一面是缜密、智慧。方寸间雕刻，毫厘间镶嵌。成木质之美，雕琢洞天；遇腾龙之势，巧思匠心。以点线面，以小线大，步步为营，丝丝入扣。毫厘间不失方寸，握度间尽长天地。龙跃而起，潮流之势，包罗万象。独蜘蛛，匠心之作。
河北省天一集团创立于2013年，注册资金500万，员工230名，有着10余年的生产经验。其研发设计、生产销售于一体的大型生产企业，优秀的员工，先进的技术，精良的设备，严格的管理使公司得以不断的发展壮大。精确、可靠、专业是我们生产的精神和服务信念。
沙发让
500万乔氏大师赛官方供应商，正红胶边均匀回弹，入球一流打感，持排球连日球中靴。
大声不要！只求回到这花果山中了，过逍遥日子。
天耀球杆中式八球跟黑八是一项原创于中国的运动，在乔氏的推动下，已走进全球96个国家。
And we are back with the final frame of this absolute thriller match between Zhao Yupeng against Kong Dejing. The score is 12-all, race to 13 for guaranteed top 48 spot in this tournament. Chance to play to get into the top 32 later today. Stay in the winner's bracket. If you are in the loser's bracket, you have to play another match tomorrow at 10 a.m. Of course, after winning the match later today. And that is for a place in the last 32, stage 4 of this tournament. That will be the fourth and final stage as we go from 32 down to 1 single elimination. Yeah, and this match has come down to this now. It was Zhao Yupeng breaking in the final frame. And this black ball now to the center pocket. It's there. What a victory for Zhao Yupeng. It was an unbelievable start of stage 3. What a match we've had here today. And we will be coming to you with more action later today. That will be at 5 p.m. local time here in China. That's China Standard Time. 5 p.m. for more action from this tournament. And that will be the losers bracket and the winners bracket underway from the last 64. Massive congratulations to Zhao Yupeng as he marches on. Guaranteed last 48 place in this tournament. And of course, Kong Dejing always putting on a show for us. Yeah, absolutely great stuff from both these players. Thank you guys. I'm Raymond Tillak and I'll be back a little later for more action from this tournament. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to share, like and subscribe to our pages as well.